to get our amended agenda approved.
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the adjustment of leaving out the 9:30, discussing the new microphone audio system with Jesse Stimson.
I'll second that.
Okay, and that will be moved to June 8th. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, if we could stand please for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. All right, public comment time. Is there anybody in the house that has a comment? Anybody online? Now's our public comment time. Yes.
My comment is,
Could you get right up to that microphone? We've
Right
been having,
there?
there you go. Super.
my comment is, when you have public comment before, you don't know if there's something new that they're bringing in, and if after it's already passed, it's hard to comment, you know, like if it could be a public comment after, while you're discussing, it would be a lot easier. I know it would be more disruptive, but it's difficult to comment before and it's difficult to comment after, because before you don't know if there's something new brought in. So I just, that's
Okay.
my comment.
Well, I know, thank you, Judy, and I know we've talked about it, was moved to the front, I think at your suggestion.
Yes.
And, you know, whenever what you've described is more of a public hearing setting where it's in the middle of the agenda, but there aren't any public bodies that I'm aware of that do have it in the middle. So to that point, all three of us have accessible phones and emails. If there's something you see on the agenda, either before that you have a question or after, you know, please feel free to call. But it would be very difficult, and take a look at like today's agenda where we have pretty robust agenda, and we have times, if you don't have any control of the time, then you get in a situation where somebody might sit for 30 or 40 minutes, and that's unfair to their time too.
That's true.
Yeah.
But before, when we used to, when we first were here, they had comments, and we commented in between, and that.
That's normally not, though, the standard procedure, Judy. It was a very forgiving group that allowed that. So, you know, my thoughts are that if there's something that is done that people are unhappy with, please call. Just because we vote or discuss it today doesn't mean we can't attack it again the next week. There's nothing that I'm not willing to listen and talk to people about. So, I may not agree, they may not agree with me, but at least I'm always willing. I think Jacob is probably just as free to be, and I know Chuck is. It would really be tough if we just open it up. We could have a 3-day meeting in here for it would be a challenge.
At that time when we were here, there were maybe 3 people.
Yes.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You know.
The
I just thought it.
time thing is handy, but yet can be a problem too. Most of the agendas I look at don't have times on them.
Right.
Most all counties I've seen don't have any times.
Right. Yeah.
So it almost can be some things take a lot longer and some things don't, and then we wait, and then it is handy for people coming, but
Yeah, and
time thing can be difficult.
of course,
Today, we've kind of got we don't know where the time's gonna go.
no, that's
Yeah.
true. No, that's
Mr.
very
Jesse's
true.
not able to come, so.
Yeah.
And I know that when we have people ask to be on the agenda, they always ask what time, and everybody will give you a time. A lot of counties don't publish it. We have to publish it. And again, it's a guide. It's hard to manage, and you want to have ample time for discussion, and there's several items today that will take a fair amount of time.
No.
So, but, go ahead.
If we're gonna discuss this a little bit, let's discuss it right now. The trouble is, there is things we get discussion on that people do add things that is handy. We figure out something, and so we allow that, but then sometimes we don't. So it gets kind of confusing. It's hard to, there might be something they could help us with that we need to know. Oh, hey, you didn't think about this.
Well,
There has to be some kind of order to it that doesn't last forever. I get that. But our meetings aren't generally that long, an hour or two about the most, so generally. I don't know,
so I will ask you this, Judy, now that we've had it on both ends, is there, I mean, if it can't be in the middle, is there a preference? Does it work better? Because I know JD would clearly prefer to have it in, respect of his time, would clearly prefer to have it at the end so that he can come and go and get on the road.
Well, yes, when you have already voted on it, it can still be discussed.
Sure,
Sure.
yes, it can.
But I think that, I would get for the public.
Sure.
before I vote, I like hearing something new I might not have really might have thought of. It's nice to know before you vote.
I don't prefer under the other hand, we can still, you know, it's still open.
Sure, it is. I'll give you a good example of recent, a few weeks ago, we approved a 5-year road plan. And since that time, I've received a number of comments, I don't know about these two guys, that give rise to us having a good discussion about whether or not that 5-year plan that we adopted the other day is really relevant. Maybe we need to adjust. And I think for some viable reasons as a result of discussion. And again, you can't always get a room of people together and all have the ideas and figure it out that day. Sometimes it takes some time to process. Sometimes it takes some time for people to look at other alternatives. So I would use that as an example of,
Well, I always felt like when it's voted on.
I understand. Well, thank you, Judy. Any other public comment? Okay, then, JD, would ask you to come forward, please.
Thanks, sir.
Pass that over if you want me to. Oh, you're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, I'm JD. That chair wasn't disturbed since last week, 18 May. But today's the 25th.
Yes, sir.
May has sped by, the sun is shining, we're hauling rock. As you noted when I sent out the engineer update yesterday afternoon, we had blades out, working, shaping the roads after the rains. The intersection potholes, washboards, we're hauling rock with our in-house trucks. We got 4 locations taking care of the blade guys. And yesterday, the contract haul started on our local road project. That's the one funded by the DOT COVID money. They got, if I understand right, they surfaced 10 miles yesterday, and they're out east of town toward Hollyville on some road. Based on our haul rate of Monday, we'll be done by the end of the week with this rock haul. Yesterday, the pothole patching was cold patch, larger than normal crew. We had 2 mowers running, yesterday for part of the day, and then we had a flat on one of the tractors, and then we got both mowers are back running today. We gotten the first pass on the pavements for safety purposes. And the pipe crews did not dig in. Crossroad pipe right now is pretty wet. There's a lot of water in the ditches flowing through the pipe. So we'll have them fixing some embankment sloughs at various spots. We did receive word from the insurance folks about the truck that tipped over the other day. It has been totaled, filled out. And so we do have a replacement thing on our insurance. And so the dollars we're going to spend on this is just the difference between the original cost of the equipment and the new cost. And Melissa, I got a question for you at some later time about seeking this replacement.
How does that, so they're gonna cover what it originally cost in the replacement?
That's what I understand, yes.
Now, I've had farm equipment get messed up from inflation I bought, and then they've covered what it cost. One time a hay rake was almost 50% higher. A year or two later, they paid they covered to buy the one that replaced it. And that was on a farm equipment, I don't.
I'm not certain that this is that way.
So these two pieces,
That'd be a cash value.
there was two pieces of machinery that, this one, we were actually fortunate that this one did have replacement value on it. So, just kind of somehow she had gotten grouped in for replacement credit or replacement value and differently, so.
It's a good thing. It's just,
Yeah,
the difference could be.
So, I mean,
significant.
replacement value means something, or, I mean, the way they're defining it, it doesn't.
no, it sounds like an ACV settlement.
Kind of, yeah, that's what, I wonder how,
As opposed to replacement, but that's what they call it, right? So, anyway, they've totaled out. Okay. They're working on motivator 6. It was running today when I left the shop. Talked about the tire, and truck tractor was in for service yesterday and rolled out this morning. Turn to construction. We're down to the last few items, and of course, finishing dirt takes decent weather, so we're dependent on the weather, or more specifically, not having additional rain. So we got to finish the dirt. We're going to put on the guardrail. It's scheduled for Wednesday. The little dab of paint that gets put down on the pavement is scheduled for Friday. And hopefully, and this is not confirmed, hopefully the seeded emulsion outfit will come in on Friday. We've had a walkthrough by the DOT inspector, and he had some comments for us, and we noted those. And there's some that are relevant in our mind, and some not so much. So the bottom line is the bridge on J20 is not yet open, but it should be open soon. It certainly by the first week in June. Weather. Our guys continue on project development of the office. Hot mix asphalt resurfacing project on the Stanton Road on B61 is a bridge in the southeast part of the county. They're doing some surveying down in the southwest on C Avenue, south of 280th, 290th, down in there. I did have a met with the bridge contractor last week or the week before. Anyway, we went around and looked at some bridges. I have some quotes back on those repairs. They won't be necessarily anytime soon, but he did note that they should be done before, or during this calendar year. So it could be late in the fall. There's RPA meeting for the STIP and the TIP later this afternoon, or this afternoon via Zoom. And today we have a hearing on the budget amendment. And I'll reserve some of my comments till then. Any questions regarding the engineering update?
I've got a couple of questions for you. I had people call me last couple of days. Okay. I got some pictures on my phone. I tried to have my wife email them this morning because I couldn't get them to go from my phone to the board. Out around Price's on Upland Avenue, they said there's a sinkhole. See if it came through the.
Yeah, I'll look at my phone.
Just here real recently, I was driving up, I said, see if you can email me.
No, I didn't get anything.
Oh, maybe it didn't work. Okay, it's just, are you aware of this out near, I've not been by
There's
it yet.
one on Willow, I understood.
Somewhere, this is near Upland Avenue, somewhere out there by Bryce's shop out here.
Okay,
There's a sinkhole that needs attention. And the pictures look pretty bad. And it's gonna get nothing but worse, so
And that's on Upland Avenue?
that's what I had in a text here, but.
okay.
Anyway, and the other thing, I had a resident call me, didn't even catch his name, he lives on Cherokee Ridge, and that's I think I understand, we've heard about that before, they're wanting to be a part of it. He was actually just wanting to look into, he's trying to find a contractor, if the county would work, it could be hired.
Is this Mr. John Royal?
Maybe. Is it a Nebraska phone number? I didn't catch his first name. We were visiting, but I'm not sure. He lives out there and he wants to hire the county or somebody to just ditch, and he said, talk to you and
Right, I talked to Mr. Royal, who was undertaken to do some improvements, on his own behest. He didn't ask me about hiring out.
well, that's what he was wondering. He's trying to find somebody that has a road grader and they would all hire to just get it ditched somewhat to shape it before they rock it. Didn't know if the county would do something like that or not, or have a fee for working on that because it needs attention and he's trying to figure it out. So I don't know what can be done there.
Subject to what the board thinks. I certainly have plenty of work for my guys right now, and surely there's some contractor somewhere with a road grader.
That's what he was trying to figure out.
Might suggest he talks to T. Meyer. I know he's got a grader.
He's got a grader.
I'm sure he still does. And if not, he would know who does, or,
I put him in contact with somebody down in Claremont that does stuff
Yeah.
yesterday.
yeah. And also, who's the tiling people, the two people,
Mathers.
Mathers, they might have ability to do something like that too.
I don't know if they have a road grader.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I can't remember.
They do dirt work, but I'm
Yeah.
not aware they have a road grader.
Yeah.
I know that this comes up from time to time, what can the county do? And I know it's been kind of a practice, and sometimes the balance is hard to reach, but not to compete with local contractors. And then the issue this time of year, they've got plenty on their plate. I mean, they're not looking for things to do. But they have the equipment, so they're good for a call.
He brought up, I think he added up $175,000 of the taxes have been paid out there, so. I know it's not on that specific road, because it's not a county road, but
Of course, the backstory there was a lot of research done on this, Jacob.
a long time ago, yeah, I heard some of that.
But what occurred is when that was developed, the county approached them to do it the correct way, and it was not done the correct way, and now they've got problems because of
Yeah,
it.
some of the yards extend out to where the ditches need to be, and there'd be a real problem with everybody, I believe, out there from what I looked at.
I think they've kind of come to that, and that's what he said yesterday, and he told me just that they're just looking to fix it themselves, however, they're not even asking for money. just somehow to do it. So that and that sinkhole, I'm trying to get those pictures come through, it needs attention.
The only thing
I think it's north of the shop or south of the shop.
He just set us by Price and Shop and set up one
So
avenue.
who called it in, Mr. Price?
No, I have a phone number here, but I don't know. Didn't ask him. He said he lived out that way, was driving through there. He didn't.
I've got his phone number.
Maybe holler him and see where it is, but, it needs attention, look like.
Okay.
And then 250th Street, did it get any rock on this run?
It hasn't been worked on yet.
Yeah.
We're trying to let these roads have been pulled in.
Sure.
Whether it's little dirt,
Trying to
window,
dry them?
to dry.
Yep, nope, I understand.
As much as you can before
Yeah.
we put it off.
Okay,
And
And
is it,
drying is kind of a challenge
yeah.
sure,
over the weekend.
and aren't you working kind of north to south on the?
My map is over there, but we started up in the north part and we're coming around town
Okay.
clockwise.
Oh, okay.
Although we're leaving P Avenue from between 160th and Highway 2, we're leaving it to last. So we can put as much time on the reshaping as we can.
Okay. Okay.
But we'll get to it this week.
Okay. Super.
The comments.
Any other questions?
I do have one more handout here of, this will be the end of the month, April, and it shows amended dollars. Because without amended dollars, we're in the red.
That's not good.
But let's fix it
Oh,
later on today. Anything else?
Can you take a look? I know it's a busy time of year, but sometime in June or July, if at all possible, I'd like you to arrange us a road trip to evaluate the roads that are on the 5-year plan and see what the thoughts of the board are in terms of readjusting the schedule.
Sure. And I would note that in the current fiscal year, or certainly last fiscal year, we have done revisions and amendments to the program. It's simple to do. I mean, certainly can be done.
Okay, thank you. All right, 8:54.
are you gonna be here for the amendment, JD?
Yeah.
You'll still be here, okay? All right.
Okay, discuss and approve new windows for the recorder's office, and Jacob, you want to lead us in that discussion?
Well, yeah, all 3 bids, I tried to email that one this morning, did it come through? I tried again, did you get it?
Right.
They're all 3 almost exactly the same, isn't that funny? I mean, that many dollars. My concern with it is still, even though they all look to be, that's about what it's gonna cost in that ballpark. As I walked around and looked at all of them on the ground floor the other day, is they're all the same shape, basically. I mean, the treasurer's office, they're all silicone shut, most all of them. The ones that aren't, they have the valves holding them up. The guy from Maryville Glass came up to look at repairing them. He mentioned that they can be repaired, they can have the stuff redone inside of them, but then he came up and said, these are old enough, that won't even work. There's a stamp in the windows. The guy from Omaha Door showed me how to look at windows. They're stamped, because when they're put in, almost all of them are 1981. There's a few in the 90s, probably the one was broke or something, but they're almost all 1981. My concern with this, after looking at it, is they all need it, basically, and I think they all acted like if we do more, it will be less per window. And I don't know if this counts with this COVID capital, like working on an existing building, I don't know. Yeah. Sounds like it might.
It's possible.
So I think it needs done, but I don't know, and they need to match the courthouse, they need to make it look uniform. We had a concerned email about that. And there's also something in that email said, and I've not searched this out, that there's some, from when they did that, they hired an architect and they had everything, all plans, there might be in the basement some papers on that, so. I haven't tried to locate that yet, maybe we can see. I don't know, today, I think they need replaced, I don't know, I think we need to maybe, I had the guy that came down from Omaha look at all of them. We need to maybe put this for a bid, to look at all of them, maybe, does that make sense?
Well, I think,
And bid something uniform, and like, I have two different spec sheets here. The guy at Maryville Glass said he would send basically the people that make the windows, it's not even him. And he sent me one that matched the same one the guy at Omaha did, the commercial, see if apples to apples windows. So we don't have a lower bid, that's a cheaper window. Maybe look at making sure we're bidding the same window, then let all the reputable people bid that. And then look at all and then start cutting down from there and see what we can do, I don't know. Cause I think they need it. And the repairs, I would like to repair them.
How many total were there, Jacob?
Well, there's basically 6 in each office,
So
roughly.
24.
But then there's some,
In between.
few extras. Now, the ones that are in the vaults have steel doors in front of them. I mean, I don't know why they can't be. They're there. If they're not leaking air or water, they could maybe be. They need to match though. But might be some of those could be silicone and stay if they match. You know, they're not being opened ever. There's at least 24. There's more than that though, I think. He didn't send the bid on all of them. He just did the 6 on he's still working on it. And then I have another call or two out, but I'm new to this, but what's it called when you do a RFP or whatever it is?
yeah, request for,
This is pretty big, this is gonna be a big deal. I don't know how they did in 81, just I read an email. That's kind of the information I found. That's kind of how I feel on it. They need attention. The ones in our silicone are leaking air between them and they don't stay up. They're not good. It might be an opportunity with this COVID money though,
right.
if it would apply to that and not have a catch to it somehow. To make an improvement, because according to Judy's email in the 90s, they wanted to do some of them, but the money wasn't there. So expensive. But it's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. We could go forward with 6 right now, but we'd have to make sure the rest of them match. And they're all kind of in the same boat in a way. They're all the same year, same setup.
thoughts?
I don't know. I'd like to do them all, but I don't know, with visiting with Melissa some and visiting with Tom, I'm still not sure about the dollars. It's guaranteed that we can use it. I'm getting closer to knowing, but we're still not there yet. So.
Well, if we put it,
Yeah.
I'd like to fix it next week, but if it's a few months, I don't know if it's gonna change much. If we're moving forward on, working on it. Be nice to be done for winter.
What do you think about maybe going ahead and getting them and Hoskins to bid all of them? Yeah. They were the 2 comparable bids.
Yeah, they were all, they all seem to be the same. Maryville Glass was the same, and basically we're gonna $a few $100 on the whole project. Now, the trim is something I learned also. We need to ask Hoskins and Maryville Glass and whoever else. Omaha mentioned the wood trim on the inside is not in that bid.
Right.
Now, I was trying to read their bid and it isn't real detailed. They said the outside trim, the metal is, but not the inside. So we'd have to hire a carpenter to do the trim on and off. So that would cost a fair amount more. So
that would be the least expensive part of it though.
Yeah, but.
Because there's a good chance that there could be some wood rot that would cause that. So, with the leaky ones, especially in the treasurer's office, so. But we have
just on a bid perspective, to say, are you putting the trim on and off or are you not? Because that adds a whole nother animal to it. It might be a few thousand more on that. So I couldn't understand if the others were. They all said, and then the guy said that the yard, if they tear up the yard, they're gonna try not to, but that's not in there.
Right.
And tree branches have to be trimmed and things for getting the lift around, they said. So I don't know. I just has to, I think if we reach out to them, I mean, I just called up here for just something to look at. At least I hear them on the radio all the time at Omaha, big place. It came out about exactly the same. If we do here's what we want, here's the window we want, here's what we want to accomplish. We want this great a window, and I got both the windows that I saw the specs on matched, their wind and heat rating and all this. The glass is a big difference too. Some people's bids will have a glass that has a low E, which will reflect the sun. On these big windows, it's a big deal. Some might not, and they told me that will change the cost. You might be same price, but your big difference if one place gives you better glass and one not. It just seems like it needs to be very well thought out before we pull the trigger on this, because it's 40 years and what's in there right now. So it's going to be, if we do them all,
And they'll be there for another 40, you're right.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I think we've got a lot of information collected. I think we need to take this and do a next step and see what that is. If we can only do 6 at a time, then we just make sure we can match those 6 as we do every few years.
And by the time we get another bid in another 2 weeks, I think we're going to have a lot more answers, don't you, possibly from the government, you know.
Because at the current price, it's going to be over 100,000 to do.
Yeah.
The windows.
And then we'll have to definitely take the lowest bid, so.
Yeah.
You know.
If they're bidding apples to apples, and then they're reputable, then that'd be all right.
Did you reach out to Taylor County at all to see the process that they went through?
I did not. I have not thought, did they do new windows? I didn't even know that.
We talked about this, I didn't know if you had or not. You might want to reach out to them. I know it's
Who's
been
that?
a while. Gosh, it's probably been at least 5 or 7 years ago, if not even
Probably
10, but.
call and talk to the auditor up there.
And she probably, it would have been the previous auditor, but they might even be able to tell you the company or
Who
who
they
they
went
went
with.
through. But I know when they did that, they did the entire courthouse. I think I was thinking it was over 300 or 400, if not 500,000 when they did that, but I could be wrong.
They
Well, if we
probably
did the
did all
whole- now
three, if you did all 3 floors, it probably would be.
And the round, and more than one person said this, the arched windows, most of them don't have an issue because they don't move.
Right.
So when we looked up at some of those, they don't really apply to the base bottom floor, but they would be left alone probably if everything's tight, not rotten, just match it and go on. Because they get very expensive. Right. You start doing arched windows, they get very expensive.
If you want to do some talking also to Taylor, and if you have any trouble finding somebody that knows anything, give me a holler, and if I can't, then I'll give it to Chuck and we'll track down somebody that knows something.
But,
So that'd be fine. I do think though that we take those and expand it and see what it would be for the whole.
I asked, and Omaha to do it, and they haven't done it yet, and the Maryville, last guy's supposed to be working on that, maybe tell Hoskins. And they said it would be a little less, but
Sure.
and they said also, once you learn, all the windows are basically the same.
Same, right.
So once they learn how to do a couple,
Right.
it gets easier and easier as they go.
And I would say that probably the study from the size of the window and all those would not be applicable from before,
If it's,
because everything has changed in 30 years. So I would imagine every window has shifted just a little tiny bit. And therefore, I think the window companies can determine, they have to measure exact each unit anyway,
gonna
so,
put in.
yeah.
basically, I mean, all those windows, and that's where the one guy said he talked to the manufacturer, if we buy enough of them, when the manufacturer sets up to make a window, set up to make us, if we make 24 of them versus 6, maybe they would give us a break. We also have the whole aluminum and steel crazy thing right now, which is hurting us.
Sure.
But
Yeah, okay, well,
I think I'd
You
like
wanna-
to keep working on this a little bit.
Yeah.
do you want to make a motion to continue working on this?
How does it work if we eventually get to doing a bid on this? Like we put it up for bid, how does that work?
Well,
Or do we
if
wanna-
we're gonna do that, which I don't think is necessarily a bad idea, I would like to have some outside help to make sure
Yeah.
that we do the RFP correctly and that we are actually looking at apple to apple bid.
Yeah.
And, obviously we couldn't approve these today anyway because our process has been flawed. Hoskins did what we asked him to do originally, and now incidentally, the other 2 bids that came in are both a little under the published price.
Well,
So
that's not right either, right?
Yeah, we have to throw all this out and
Yeah.
start from
Yeah.
scratch. And I like the idea of COVID dollars. I don't know, we've gone eons. It seems like we've been talking Windows for years, and they're not getting any better, but they're really not getting substantially worse. I think we have some time to figure out.
We know it's going to take 3 months minimum to probably get the windows, but that still gives us time. If we can get something done in the next 3 weeks, we can still get it done before winter sets in, so.
But you know, if you want to continue to head up the project, that's great, appreciate the time. You might reach out to somebody like HGM or any other architectural firm that you've had experience with, just asking what would it cost to have you RFP this on these courthouse windows come in, help us with the bid process on all of them. But I wouldn't maybe commit to that until we know that there's a good chance we can use, because we don't have the money to do it with it.
Right, otherwise we can't do it. The 6 windows are gonna be burn up all the money that's set aside. Right, that's about basically what's set aside.
This year.
For this year, yeah. So the only other request I would have when you're doing this, appreciate you've done a lot of work, and thank you for that. It doesn't help me to get a spec at 8 o'clock.
I definitely,
You know, I mean,
I was gonna bring them in, but they all, it's all the same, basically,
Yeah.
as the others, they're all the same. It's crazy how similar they were.
I know you spent a lot of time on it, appreciate it.
Mhm.
And don't feel like you gotta do it alone, tell, you know,
No,
sign stuff.
And the other thing you can do is you can let those companies give them our county address. They can send it directly to us, so you even takes you out of the loop, and that's perfectly
It'll
okay.
be better.
That way you don't have to worry about it, so.
Well, on this, I've not ever done this, you know, request a bid thing. If you guys wanna work on that or know some, I've never done that. I can learn how to chase that down with this engineering firm or architect, but I've never done that before. So,
Yeah, I could work on that once we get, I mean, let's kind of see what COVID dollars are gonna be.
Yep,
Because
yep.
I don't think you wanna add
And
that.
we don't wanna add an expense
No,
to that without.
and I think it'd be okay to go ahead and get what all 28 windows are. Since they've been here to look, let's figure out what the total is gonna be so we know.
Right.
And that would be
Yeah,
still okay.
I like that,
Yeah.
and I was hoping to get that, just
Yeah.
to see the difference, the savings, how many windows we could get, maybe throw it in.
Although, you know, I mean, well, that's a great idea on the surface. If we end up getting an architectural firm that bids the specs,
Then they're gonna probably redo it anyway.
Waste
Yeah,
of
that's
time
true.
on,
That's
for those
true.
contracts.
That's true.
So maybe wait a couple weeks and see if the
Well,
money's there.
why don't you talk to Taylor County
Yeah.
and see what they did? Get
Who
some
they hired.
information from them, see what they
How they
did,
bid it.
see how they went through the process, and then we can go kind of step by step their process.
Okay, I'll do that.
That'd be, yeah, good idea.
But if we can make it happen, I'd definitely be in favor of doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
If there's a way to get it done.
Sounds good to me. I'll call
Okay, awesome. So
Well,
there's no motion here, so no actions taken on 8:45. Is that fair enough?
Yep.
Without a vote, okay. All right, public hearing. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing at 9:09?
them. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Holmes, second by Armstrong to open our public hearing on the FY 21 budget amendment. It is now open, and who's going to lead the discussion? Yes, please. I would love that.
If you've got a microphone handy. Okay. As soon as you're done typing.
All right, so this is the budget amendment for the second budget amendment for this fiscal year. So basically, just some of the high points of this were, revenues increased $1,000 and expenses of $11,000 for VA, and that was for grants that came through. There was a $40,000 increase for medical examiner juvenile court services. Those are board controlled budgets. However, this year, there's just been more use on both of those. So both of those budgets are running short. So typically, those aren't things you guys can necessarily say yes or no on. Those are your medical examiner and your medical investigators determine when individuals need to go for an autopsy. based on the autopsy, based on the different things, they issue toxicology or any of those things, or an extended toxicology on those, the fees can flux based on the individual. And then as well on juvenile court services, if we have individuals in Paige County that are sent for different services, those are things that are billed back to the county. So we've had a few more juvenile issues this year. There was also an increase in revenue and matching expenses for conservation for $12,150, and that was so that they could actually spend out some of the money that they had received in through donations. And then there was an increase of revenues of $2,452,728 for secondary roads for EWP, Hungry Canyons, COVID relief, and A Avenue reimbursement for secondary roads. And then an increase of in expenses for secondary roads of $2,567,059. And that would have been for pipe work, bridge consultation, rock haul, and the EWP construction. There was a difference in that from the revenue and expense of, the expense was an additional $114,331. So just so you're aware, that will impact the fund balance and result in a decrease there of $114,000.
114,331.
Yes.
Okay.
There was also some, there was one other thing, sorry. There would have also been funding as well, an increase for public health, and that would have been due to some different funding they received, but also due to, you know, some of the overtime expenditures and things like that.
Is overtime basically done there now, or are they still having that go on?
There still has been some, not
It's been pretty minimal, so.
So, but that was we did a $70,000 budget amendment there for that. And there was some other grants and things that came through with that too. There was a $20,000 grant that came through. So that was put in, and then on the expense side, there was $70,000. So that would be to expend out that grant, but also for additional expenses there for that department, which would have been your overtime or any additional expenditures. Questions?
So what's the total amendment dollar amount?
I'm sorry.
Total amendment dollars.
So your total revenues would have been $2,485,878, and then your total expenditures would have been $2,740,209 for a difference of $254,331.
Okay.
With your expenses being larger than your revenues there.
Okay. And 114 of that's from secondary roads, from the weir work, et cetera.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 70 or 50 differences in public health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of that 250,000.
Yes. 50,000 would be the addition, like you had a $20,000 revenue coming through there.
Yeah.
Any public comment on the budget amendment during this public hearing? And have a motion.
I'll make a motion to end the public hearing for the FY21 budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion to close our public hearing, made by Armstrong, second by Holmes. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing closed at 9:16. Do I have a motion to approve the 21 budget amendment as presented?
I so move to approve the FY21 budget amendment.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Holmes, motion by Armstrong, second by Holmes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let's roll call it, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, motion carries 3-0. All right, thanks for your work, everybody, on putting that together. All right, 9:15. It's 9:17. So we're close.
Look at there.
Paige County Library update. We have Andrew and Carrie in the room. Are you both going to present? Both going to come up? Yeah, come on up to the microphone. If you, one wants to use a handheld, that would be great.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come in and share this morning with you about what we are doing at the libraries this summer. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm really excited that we can finally do some programming again and have people in the library. So Andrew's going to pass out some of our just handouts for what we're doing for summer reading.
Thank you.
And while he's doing that, I just want to give you a quick update from Barb at the Coin Library and Amber at the Essex Library.
Okay.
So neither one of them were able to be here today, but they both spoke with me about what they're doing. So Amber said that she's still working on finalizing plans at Essex, but she's planning on doing a STEM camp to coordinate with her summer reading program. So they're looking forward to that. And then Barb mentioned that they are, of course, continuing to add more books in Coin. They now have a total of 11,432 books. They're doing children's programming once a month, and that has been very popular. I know she said the last one they had 13 kids there, and for Coin, that's a really good number. They were doing, you know, like a specific Saturday of the month, but now they're doing pop-up programming. So I know for sure that today is Cookie Monster's birthday. And so they are having a Cookie Monster cookie party from 2 to 4. So I will not be at my library because I'm going to be eating cookies and Coin. You should come join us.
We'd all like to be eating cookies and Coin.
I know, it sounds like a lot of fun. So she also said that they're adding a community kindness rock garden and that they have a Facebook page that you can check for updates. So really.
And that's Barb again?
That's Barb at Coin, yeah. So yeah, she sent me a whole nice long email of all the stuff they're doing. So I was really impressed with that and excited to see all they're doing down there. So you've got the little Quattro pages for the Shenandoah Library. These are just our in-person programs. These are the Wednesday afternoon at 1 programs. Most of them will be outside, so we're looking forward to doing that. And then we're also continuing, because we had such success last year, with our book bingo where they can get pins by completing challenges, and so we're doing that this year. And there's a weekly scavenger hunt for the different colors, so they can go around town, complete 4 challenges, and then take pictures of the colors that they find and turn that in for prizes. So we had really good success with it last year, and we're looking forward to continuing on with it this year.
Carrie now will be handing out the calendar for the Lee Public Library Clarinda Summer Library Program. We're really excited to have kind of this summer. It's a little more back to normal for us. Obviously last summer, like many things, was different. So we're getting back to normal, and what I appreciate about our calendar is, one, you can see there's lots of things we have scheduled. This year, we really focused on community partnerships, so we're doing a lot with the hospital, ISU Extension, Paige County Conservation, and the Clarinda Fire Department. I will say we're going to set the bar pretty high on June 1st and 2nd because the helicopter will be coming to the practice football field. So I know the kids will enjoy seeing that and meeting the crew there. But we have a lot of great programs after that too. Our program, there's a paper component, so you can pick up a paper log from the library, but we also are encouraging everyone to do, we have a Read Squared app that you can put on your phone or access on the computer, and you can log your books or your minutes read. It enters you for prizes automatically and everything, and it even will remind you about some of the events we have going on. So we're looking forward to that, but our summer reading programs aren't just for kids. We do have some adult programs planned. We have origami flowers and watercolor flower programs planned. We just had our Spice Club meeting last night with Star Anise and Dr. Wadawa, so we had a packed house for that. We're working on getting June's speaker scheduled, and we're also working on getting our summer concert series finalized. We just had one of those 2 weekends ago with Damon Nally. We had a great reception with that. June, we have the people, we're just working on picking the date. And then in July, we'll have the drum safari from Kansas City coming to be outdoors in our outdoor space. So we're excited to be able to utilize that space a lot more this summer. That's actually where most of our programs will be going on. So anyway, we encourage you guys to spread the news, sign up, and log your reading.
And then if I can just add one more thing, I just wanted to let you guys know where we are at in Shenandoah with a couple of the grants that we received. We did get a Libraries Transforming Communities grant from the American Library Association and the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, and I'm thrilled to finally be able to say that we have our whole discussion series planned for that. We are working in partnership with the Forum to Revitalize Shenandoah, and so we are doing community conversations on revitalization. And in June, we're going to start out with book discussions on the book 13 Ways to Kill Your Community, kind of priming the pump and getting it ready, getting people talking about, you know, what do we need to do to keep our community vital, keep people in the community. So we're going to do some book discussions there. Then we've got Alexis Fleener from Shift, ALT, and SWIPCO coming in July to kind of give a program and discussion. And then we have Cheryl Garst and Jennifer Fletcher from the 712 Initiative and Council of Laws coming to talk to us in August. So we're very excited about that series of programs, and then hopefully the community discussion that will spur on to help the forum kind of get going and get some momentum. And then the other thing that we're doing, I don't know if you've seen the stuff that KMA has put on, but we did get a grant from IEEE for STEM kits, and so we are working on checkoutable kits for, we've got 2 microscopes, 2 weather stations, and 2 telescopes that we're going to be checking out as kits with accompanying material. So we're really excited to be offering those things from the library right now.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations on your grant.
Yes.
I know we had talked about, you know, the 60-day mark, we'd look at, you know, some additional funds, and still clear as mud. We don't know where we're at. Sorry.
Is there anything we could do with they weren't looking for, what were they looking for? 5,000, or what was it basically, was that the number when we were having that discussion? What was the number? Was it something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was under 5,000.
Under 4,000.
2,400.
Okay. Was that per library and then?
Well, 5,000 probably.
Total, all three.
$2,000 for 2 larger libraries.
And then look at the coin. I didn't know if that's, I'm not quite
Well,
COVID money or not, but just something to think about. I don't know. Just,
Yeah,
libraries are doing a lot.
yeah, there's no question. Where are we at on Angie? She left. Where's the work being done there? Bid?
I don't know. You know, it's kind of, I guess it's in the process.
Yeah, so I don't know if that, and that was part of what we
Something was left over.
determined we need to kind of see, and I'm not sure honestly how that's shaken out. Do you,
What's that?
on Angie's renovation with the heating, cooling,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
construction?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard. I had nothing that's happened as of last week. I didn't look in this morning, but I don't think so.
So that
We
we
can follow up with you guys.
Yeah.
okay. All right. Super. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Okay, we're a little bit early, but that's fine. We can, if you want, since we're scheduled 9:40 and it's 9:26, Jacob, you had two things.
Yeah, mine are pretty quick.
11 or 11:10. Well, can we take care of those
Yeah,
now?
that's fine, yeah. Well, the supervisor weekly update, I've been thinking about that for a while. Like this morning, we're discussing all these things about things we've talked to people, and I know some other counties do that. I think Montgomery County does. I've looked at their agenda.
Yeah, I was gonna say what they do is each one of the supervisors kind of reads out what they've been to the
Kinda
previous
keep
week
it
and what
all-
they've got coming up, such as whichever board you're on.
Yeah,
so-
juvenile,
Yeah.
these other ones, and
Yeah.
it helps us all to kind of,
Yeah, nope, I think that would be a great idea. I've
because in a
always-
meeting, sometimes we're trying to real quick throw some things in around things.
Yeah, we always do
And
it.
it might not be anything, but if there is,
Previous boards used to do it, they used to just, it wasn't like an agenda item. but
Just
at the
they would
end,
have
they used to
discussion.
Just recap kind of
The
the
week.
weeks or what was ahead, so.
that would be helpful to me, because I'm trying to, we can, I've had these concerns come up, you've had this, I went to this meeting, here's kind of what's going on.
I know at Montgomery County, they put it on as an agenda item right at the very beginning.
Yeah, now I don't care with our time
Yeah,
schedule, put it at the
yeah,
end.
Yeah, if we,
It doesn't affect time.
yeah.
What we used to do at the end is kind of do a round robin.
Yeah.
What meetings have you been to? What meetings?
Yeah.
We didn't have it as an agenda item because
Yeah.
it's information. It's
Let's
just-
just-
Yeah, it's not a voting,
Let's
nothing to vote.
let's just plan on one of us remembering to do that every meeting.
It just kind of makes
Yeah.
sure, okay,
Yeah.
just like public comment, okay,
Yeah.
do we have anything to say? Let's work on this.
Okay.
Trying,
No, I
that's
think
all I
it-
wanted with that, just trying to get a time, because otherwise it seems like they're trying to wedge it in, and it's just be nice to learn more what's going on in all these different committees and everything.
Yep,
So,
Sure.
I agree. Yeah. I think between the three of us, we can surely remember to do that each week, can't we?
yeah, I don't know, I mean, the only
It's
thing.
gonna be putting a lot on you, you're younger to remember
Yeah,
this.
well, yeah, I remember everything. Right.
But
Should
no,
be, right?
I think it'd be great,
It's just kind of like,
giving a report of what we've done.
right, and just remembering just, okay, what's the time for that, let's do that, and then we go on to the next thing. Or if we put it at the end, though, I think it would be, it won't mess any schedule up.
No, let's just plan on doing that. We'll start
Okay,
doing
and
it.
then the whole public comment discussion is kind of what we already kind of discussed. I've had people, and Judy's, raised this question, which made a lot of sense when we went to the beginning. You brought that up, and made a lot of sense, like, well, all you can do is react, which is better to talk first, which I think that is superior. I don't know but then, I don't know how to do this. It's like, the best way is kind of in the hearing fashion. It might not be the most, efficient way, but where because we've done that before, there is people sitting out there that we meet, even like the people, and then the people sitting there say, hey, you haven't thought about this, and we'll listen a lot of times if they do that, but then it gets hairy because, well, then sometimes we don't, sometimes we do, and it's like, well, we're grading how valuable information is, and we don't even know as it comes out, so. If a person ever, I believe that's probably the best, but maybe in that situation, it's a shorter, not a 5-minute, let's have a long talk, I've got something to add to this. Have you thought about bidding it this way, or I did this much, just information. And they can do it before and after. Discussion does even for myself. A lot of times my thoughts I come in here with might change when we're discussing things. I learned something I didn't know, which does change the whole dynamic of the agenda then. You come in thinking one thing, and then after discussion, you realize, oh, I wasn't thinking about that right, or I have something I didn't think of. I don't know how to do that right in the order of a meeting situation, but I think it being at the beginning helps people be able to talk before we vote, give us some ideas, like just by looking at the agenda. It's just conversation here. How can we improve getting information from the public and helping us make informed decisions? It's just my thoughts on it, just discussion on that.
Yep. Well, I want to do some more research to see what other public entities, how they interject comment outside of a public hearing. That one really frightens me, not because I'm afraid of input, but just things going endlessly on. And then And then if you have, let's say there's if there's something of interest and you have one, two definite sides, and maybe you load up the room with one particular side and that's all you're going to hear. I don't know. I just think we're accessible, and people as citizens should, pay attention to issues that are important to them and understand what our scope is and isn't. I mean, a lot of times people think we can do a lot of things that we can't do.
Can I make a comment?
Certainly.
I've heard people tell me that, well, they don't want to comment because they already voted on it, so they maybe what's going to do to go and make a public comment. But now you said, it can be reopened.
Yes.
That makes a big difference. But at the time, I've heard people say that, and they said, why bother to vote? They discuss it, they approve it, and then they have a discussion, and that's when it was before. With that, but, that's what I've heard people say.
But that's where I think the beginning is nice, because but then the end, there is things, and you know how it goes. When you're in a discussion is when you think about it. When you get out here, even if you had the beginning and end, and be like, well, this happened, now I've taught this, here's something to think about next week. And maybe you don't get time for each one, you use up your time somewhere, but maybe people, I don't know.
What do you think about limiting it to 2 minutes at the beginning and another at the end for if there's a public comment on something that we've done? Or do we just leave it at where they can call us, and then if we decide we want to bring it back up, we can put it back on? And that's my whole thing. I just, sometimes it's easier for people to have one-on-one conversations than to get up in front of the whole room. I don't know.
It's just nice to have the conversation, and if somebody's went to the trouble to listen to our very exciting meeting,
right,
whether it be sitting here or calling it.
No, I
then
know.
they I think they, being a taxpayer, earn the right to speak a little bit.
I
probably
agree.
a lot, really. So, some people do 2 minutes. I would say in a discussion, that's not more of a, I want to come give a big presentation. That's a, let me add a point. I want to make a point, to what you're voting on. But I don't want to limit the time, and if somebody has thought through something and wants to bring something in here, I don't know. It's just a discussion to try to improve it even more. I think it was an improvement when we went to the beginning. I never thought of that. I think that was an improvement before we vote, give them a chance at the beginning. But maybe adding some more discussion, how we can improve it even better. I don't know. Just trying to really be open. That's just why I put it on here, just to discuss how can we improve this and get ideas.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a tough one. But I would go ahead and repeat the 5-year plan, road plan is a great example. That was publicized. We made some decisions that day. I've had additional data. There's very little in government that happens swiftly. So the process of being able to make a decision, take additional input, and then go back and revisit it as needed, seems to work on most stuff, I think. But I'm not sure we
have a 5-year plan. Yeah, we shot one out there, but now I think it does need now.
Yeah, I think more attention. I'd like that road trip so that we can put our eyes on it, and because I think on that 55 and 53, I'm kind of to the point where if we tear it up with wind development, if wind development ever happens,
they can
let them pay for it, and let's get her done. There's just too much traffic.
Right.
I think the other one out here, we need to do something going out north of 2 out to 190.
Yeah, that road is terrible.
That road's horrible.
And we're 5 years plus out right now, and that's pretty unbelievable on that road. It's terrible.
So I think a road trip and some good solid discussions need to take place. But that's a result of additional input.
Right, and I've had those same calls, and then to speak to that, which I think, where we did that in fear of wind development tearing it up, whatever kind of, and I've not done all this research, whatever kind of an ironclad, if this ever comes, we can hold them to, we put this here now. you've got to have the money sitting here to fix it. Because we've invested and we want it returned. But yeah, it needs to be sped up. Definitely.
All right, great. Well, good discussion, and not sure we totally solved it. I think it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is time to,
We've got 3 minutes before our 9:40. Is it possible to take a 2-minute restroom break?
absolutely. And I would tell the folks on Zoom, we have kind of an unusual situation here, in terms of, we're gonna have a possible closed session. Last week, Tom asked for a closed session. I assume he made today. So we will close the doors and have our discussion. If any action is taken, that has to be done in open session. Then we have another closed session scheduled at 10:45. And I guess we're just going to do our best. I thought perhaps what we might be able to do is come back after 10:45 and take any action simultaneously on either of those items. But I'm not sure that that's legal. So what we're going to do is tell you that we will come back on Zoom at approximately 10:40, and if any action is taken at that time, you will see it, and then we will vote to go back into closed session. We'll cut Zoom off again, and then we will have a prescribed time when we'll come back on after that second session. So that's kind of what we'll attempt to do. We're on a recess now until Alan gets back. I meant to ask, how's Will?
He's doing good. We're waiting to see if they die or not. They broke about halfway. Both the front feet. He just had them a year, you know. But I think they're not hurting him too bad. I think they're going back, I think, Thursday. To see if they stay open. If they don't die, then they can, I guess, add to it maybe. Maybe put a ground on, I don't know.
Put a post up in there and build it.
Something, I don't know. There's two choices depending on what happens, so we're gonna see, but.
Well,
What's that?
sure, well, I was asking about Will.
Yeah, his teeth, he had, you know, kids have big front teeth.
They
They're not
did
so big anymore.
They did a nice job over there for you.
Yeah, they did.
They are really, I tell you, that Travis lady from Sydney just runs a great operation. She's not the world's best, but she's
All right, it's 9:39 and,
we don't have.
yeah, okay.
We better let her.
We don't have a secretary back yet.
I'm gonna give you this, I don't know if you wanna keep it, July 27th, I'm gonna be on the road. I'll Zoom, I'll be available to Zoom, but I won't be able to be here in person July 27th.
Oh, okay,
No, it's a long ways away, but I wanted to mention that.
okay.
Now, it's not an evening meeting, it's a daytime, so
Oh, okay.
I'll be in at my brother's in Oregon.
In Oregon.
Unless something changes airplanes.
Are you finding airfares decent?
They were pretty good. We bought tickets 3 months ago, so.
Okay.
Just because I was afraid what fuel prices would do to them, so.
Mm-hmm.
Are they decent? No, they're nothing like what they used to be.
No. Okay.
But then neither's travel by car. Okay.
All right, Tom is here. Tom, we'd like to do a performance review. Would you like this in open or closed session? Yes, I would like it in closed session. Do I have a
I
motion?
make a motion that we have a closed session with Tom Nordhues per Code of Iowa, Chapter 21.5.1, semicolon, or whatever that is, however you want to say that.
Okay, we have a motion by Armstrong,
Semicolon in parentheses.
second by Holmes. All in favor, say aye. Oh, roll call, got a roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you can sit down, Tom.
All right, we're going to go into closed session at 9:41. We will return on Zoom at approximately 10:40.
I'll make a motion to come out of closed session.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, let's have a roll call, please.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. All right, following closed session, do we have a motion?
I make the board moves to settle the claims asserted by Ryan Yankowski pursuant to the terms discussed with counsel during closed session with no admission of liability on the part of Paige County or its employees or representatives.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Armstrong, second by Holmes. Roll call, please.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Holmes.
I'm gonna move no. All right.
Okay, all right, motion carries 2-1. Can we get a motion to approve our minutes?
I didn't see anything first and second time through.
I thought it looked good.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Okay,
Second that.
second by Holmes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you for.
Before we leave, you
Oh.
want to do?
Yeah,
weekly
do the round
updates?
robin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob, what do you have going on?
Well, I went to the meeting in Council Bluffs. And it went really good. They're trying to work on some construction projects, but
Which group is this?
this is the
Juvenile.
juvenile detention up there. And it was good. And I also learned after we got done discussing that we discussed safety director, all these things. Windows, we're going to ask for windows, the questions. And I've already shared some of that, but that's a lot to learn by talking to some of these other counties and what they're going through there. That bridge situation, when is that going to come about? We talked about earlier.
Well,
How does that work?
I think JD just would like to know if you would be willing to
Come out and
to go out and represent us to kind of gather information, make a recommendation. Yeah, so if you could do that,
it's right by my house.
okay, that'd be great. I know it's a little unusual, but,
I want to think about that.
okay, so yeah,
As far as what they're doing, I understand what the deal, I don't quite understand. I need to ask JD exactly what he's proposing, because I'm not sure I completely understand that. He wants the tube that we close the road, what we supply, what they supply, I'm not quite.
yeah, well, get up to speed and make a recommendation on how we should direct JD on
Yeah, I'll do that.
that. Okay. Any other, you got meetings this week?
Yeah. No, the landfill was back at the beginning of the month, and that, they're trying to hire,
Is your mic on? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Come on. They're trying to, I need my notes from that meeting, it's been the very first Thursday, but trying to hire some additional employees right now. They had one that was finally, had been through, not showed up very much, was terminated. Now they're trying to replace them. I don't know what else is going on there. They would have good revenue. There's discussion on and you guys might have had this, we talked a while back on the recycling, when they moved it from Hy-Vee.
Yeah.
Now to Fairway, and then Fairway's not as well led or watched, and people are putting a terrible problem they have, with people putting things they should not put in recycling. And it creates a horrible amount of work, terrible stuff that's in there to clean out. They're trying to have ideas on where else they could be moved that's better lit, where people wouldn't take inappropriate things to put in the recycling bin.
Might check back in the school, because I think the scooters deal went south, so there's no scooters being built out there, maybe they would.
Yeah, I think maybe they would,
Yeah. Because that was a perfect
a
location.
good spot.
Mhm.
Somebody raised the question between Runza and O'Reilly, there's a lot there.
Yeah,
I don't know,
Yeah.
did I know anything about it? There's a lot of discussion about that, trying to figure out a better place
yeah. it's
that
a tough
everybody
one.
can hit, and people won't be putting things in there they shouldn't put in there. I think anything else, that's the top issues, I think, in those couple boards going on. I've pretty much got everything else that people called me about.
Okay. Any meetings in this week, other than that?
I don't think so.
Okay, Alan?
Last Tuesday night, I had West Central Community Action, had both, policy board and then the regular board meeting. It's going along just fine up at Harlan. Daycare, or the Head Start program is doing very well. They had a great report on that. Dollars and grants between the COVID dollars that are coming in, it's really keeping them motivated, and they're able to do a lot more, LIHEAP, all the heat assistance, all the different programs they've got have been very, very well used and been very well funded, for the most part, keeping up to date with dollars coming in, with the dollars needing to go out. It was a very good report, very good meeting. Today I've got, the RPA 13 at 1:30 and the Wabansi Mental Health at 1:30. I decided to, when the RPA is probably a little more critical, I talked to Wabansi Mental Health, not that it's not important, but they've got a very strong board, and being new, I'm still learning. And the RPA, we've got a lot of stuff on discussion of some of the dollars, SWIFTCO dollars that are needing to be spent on a lot of projects within the several county area. And we've had a lot of requests, and there's going to be some good-hearted discussion at 1:30 on Zoom on who gets the money and who doesn't. They've been a little lax, and maybe, I shouldn't say lax, they just haven't been as, this COVID thing really messed up spending and what the processes were done. So we're trying to get everything back on board. And of course, then Thursday is SWIFTCO meeting, which this is part of that, the division of that, but that's coming up Thursday, and we'll have a pretty good heated discussion again about grants and dollars and all that. So, which Alexis Feener, which is going to be talking to the library, she works with SWIFTCO, and I got blessed to be asked to be the vice president of that board. So it's kind of been exciting to be more involved with that. SWIFTCO is such a huge organization. It's been very exciting to be a part of that. So,
Congratulations.
so.
Friday, I attended a Zoom meeting, that related to dispatch 911 and EMA, on the transition between our current IT service provider and the needs of the dispatch with the Zetron electronic medical dispatch system. A lot of planning goes into that, and I attended to kind of listen to some of the discussions, some of the challenges, but Chris has got a good handle on it. And I think their goal is to be operational July. So that's really good news. Friday spent a good part of the afternoon visiting with CEO of the 9-county Southwest Iowa Mental Health Region with the passage of the bill in the Iowa State House, transition from the current system on a pretty short turnaround. 2 years, it'll totally go to state funding for mental health, which I have mixed feelings on how it will work. I know the state can make some promises, and as we've seen with the back bill, the state promised that back bill would be there, and now the back bill is going away. And the concern that we have from a mental health standpoint, everybody's for property tax relief, and I think that's what was driving this change. There's a lot of discrepancy between mental health services across the state. Southwest Iowa region has done an amazing job in the 9 counties of providing great service at a reasonable fee, and has actually built some reserves. That's not the case across the state. And, the levy, the per capita levy rates have ranged from, our $23 all the way up to 40, mid-40s in some counties, and they're still going broke. So I understand the property relief. I know the CEOs of the regions had lobbied, Dan Dawson, it was his bill, had lobbied pretty hard to find a hybrid solution where the regions, just set a per capita rate at maybe $10 or $13 across the state, and then have the state backfill it. But this other option won out, some last minute dealing in the House. We'll see what happens, give them the benefit of the doubt, but, the state's got a lot of money right now, and I'm not sure they can really tell you where their balance sheets do lie with all the COVID and relief dollars. And, it's gonna cost to provide mental health services. But anyway, kind of on that, topic, our board will be meeting. We have a great concern among the board members about the tax dollars which have been collected. Part of the bill wants regions who, like us, who've been successful to donate those excess funds to some sort of a trust fund to aid failing counties. Basically, there's not a lot of sympathy for that idea among our board. So I think we'll probably be developing some ideas on how to purchase resources that actually help our 9 counties, so it's not given to Johnson County. Yesterday, spent morning in Atlantic at the Zion board meeting. Actually, it's a dual board. Zion took over the mental health, Southwest Iowa mental health based in Atlantic from the hospital here about a year or so ago. And so we serve, we thought the two organizations were melded and blended into one, but there was some DHS snafu, and so that hasn't happened, won't happen now for a year. So we currently maintain these two organizations. So I had 2 board meetings. And probably the biggest news out of all that was Zion's involvement in Turning Point from Waubonsie. Waubonsie is given.
That's going to be appearing on today, more information, I think, from that. So.
And I think July 1, there's been a lease agreement between Zion and Waubonsie for retaining that particular space. So the space won't move, and I think primarily Zion was very impressed with the staff that Waubonsie had, and much of that staff lives in Taylor County. And so they were looking for some alternative spots, but they were in Shenandoah and Red Oak, and there was a fear that Taylor County employees would be lost. So at least medium term, they've had this lease agreement, and the name will change from Turning Point to Harbor Point without the E, and that's because Zion does currently operate a crisis stabilization house in the northeastern part of the region up in Dallas County. So, and it's Harbor something, so they're trying to bring continuity. But that was a good board meeting, and typical stuff. Zion has had a lot going on in the last year. They were basically evicted from their building owned by the hospital. We bought a new building, and now there's some problems with the building that just got re-roofed. So it's been
Zion, they out here at
Zion has presence in out here at the MHI. That's where the substance abuse inpatient treatment program is. Zion also has a presence in Shenandoah, renting our building that's been damaged. Any update on that?
Can't find out. No steel.
And we celebrated the fact that there was a group meeting in Zion the day that accident happened, and it dispersed about 20 minutes earlier. Had that been going on, there would have been a serious problem.
I don't know what to do on this. I've talked to Pete about it. I don't know what to do.
there's no
steel for the purlins. When it hit, it bent the whole steel structure of the building, and there's nothing to replace it with. There's nothing being manufactured yet. Yeah, it's like so many other things that we can't find.
So,
and they're looking.
They are?
Yeah,
I know they're looking.
Yeah, Gil's looking. You just can't. come up with anything.
I wonder if
we
that
went-
continues to be a problem, if we shouldn't look at, Janet is one of the VA brought over here.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
it's
we
time to
oughta-
bring the VA
yeah.
over here and let
Yeah.
them occupy
Yeah.
the eastern half of that
Yep, and we could move,
DHS.
DHS over here. Yeah, I agree. I think now's the time to maybe just wash your hands of that building. It's just been nothing but bad luck for the last.
The county owns the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Say the floodplain.
Zion rents it.
Yeah, Zion and DHS are our two renters.
yeah, and then we furnish it for the VA.
So anyway, yeah, that's
And
kind of,
I hate to, but I think there'd be somewhere else local that when there needs to be an activity in Shenandoah, the VA can find plenty of homes to rent or to borrow for the day, between the library and the museum. All
It would
the,
be a, hospital or whatever it is.
well,
It
it's
doesn't
not
have-
clinic, it's a
Clinic,
clinic.
they wouldn't have a
it
room
doesn't
there,
have,
they could do
it isn't designed to handle the VA.
their meeting or something.
Yeah, no, they don't
I
have.
think she has some space to meet, but it.
Not on a regular
Flow of traffic
basis.
that she
No.
gets.
No.
So, then the only other thing, I guess, I'll attend tomorrow afternoon, that informational session, with
Okay.
Kevin Cabbage and Farmers Mutual, to see what they have. I know they've got some pretty big plans to, bring fiber. So
Okay.
I think that's it. No, it's good to have those
Yep.
informationals.
Yeah, and if you have anything that after, I'm gonna get a report back from, I think, from somebody within the, or Bonzi, but don't be afraid if you've got information regarding the state from that inspecting your regions and you need me to know,
Okay.
don't be afraid to send it over to me.
Okay.
Because I know there's just a lot of confusion, and there's so many centers right now in the area for mental health, and it's just overwhelming, so.
All right, the other thing is still a week away, we'll talk about it next week, but Jacob's gonna attend the, jail kickoff, meeting.
I'm gonna make sure I wrote that down.
Yeah, and I'll be your backup if you need me.
Okay, so 10 a.m. on June 3rd at the jail.
Wrote it down again.
I just have bad memories of that jail, so I really like it if I don't have to.
Well, when you're an inmate, it doesn't.
The cell in the basement is the one for the big.
That's the
bad
one that they used to put me in.
You would be in, for good.
Deep doo-doo, would you? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion made Armstrong, second by Holmes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Tuesday.